I got out of the carriage and went into the hospital because I'd been there before. And my mother's coffin was on a stand just inside the door, and it was open. And I climbed in on top of her, and I was talking to her and trying to open her eyes, and she was like a skeleton. When I think back, she was very, very skinny. And I got on top of her, trying to open her eyes and talking to her. And of course, there was nothing. And somebody took me away from it. And I was brought back out to where the horse and carriage was. And my father said, "This is too much. Take them home. They're not coming to the funeral." And that was it. And we got these new dresses. 3 of us got new brown dresses for the funeral. 3 of us together, me being the youngest. And then our father took us back to the orphanage, which was 5.5 years we were in the orphanage for. And I do remember the first day when I was brought to the orphanage, right at the beginning, my father left myself and my 2 older sisters there, and with me, an older girl took me and gave me a bath and put the uniform on me, and then I was just brought over to join the other children, and that's how it was for all those 5.5 years. A terrible thing to be just left there. I don't know. I used to feel it was so cruel, especially the first day when I arrived, and you're all mixed up and you're saying goodbye to your father, and you just joined the crowd. So you were just nobody. I mean, I'd go to school, which was just across the playground, it was really, over to the school, where there were children there who didn't belong to the convent. And we used to be in school, and they'd be talking about my mommy this and my mommy that, and you knew you'd know mommy, That was the saddest part too. You knew you weren't really nobody. My father came up to bring my older sister, Bridie, who was 2 years older than me, to take her out because she was so upset with the nuns. They were very, very strict. So he came up, and because he had the cheek to come up to take his child out, the nun sent for me, and I went over wondering had I done something wrong, because I always worried. And when I got there was my father there with his sister, and they both had a temper, red faces in temper, and the nun just said to me, "You're going home." I didn't want to go because I'd met these 2 girls, twins, Kitty and May. Omen was their name. And they had said to me, "We're your cousins now, and we're going to look after you," because they were older than me. And I felt so good because they got on well with the sisters. They seemed to have a way about them. Of course, they were twins with red hair. And I never saw them again for 50 years. And we got on the tram with my dad. And I always remember we each had an old, raggy old case each. And I remember he sat away from us near the door, paid our fare, and he said, "Take everything out of one of the cases and put it all in the one case and leave the case on the tram," which we did. Well, we arrived where we were to live. My stepmother didn't know I was coming. She knew Bridie was coming home, but she didn't know about me. And when we got there, he rushed up in front of us, and I could see my stepmother waving her arms, probably saying, "Where are we going to put her?" And my sister, she had a single bed for her. So, of course, I could hear her saying then later on, "What am I going to do with her? Where do I put her?" So right away I knew I wasn't wanted. I knew that. And for the first time I really missed the convent.